Imagine losing a parent and then inheriting a home that you simply can't afford to keep. Now that's exactly what happened to one of our clients. But thanks to a very smart decision by his dad before his passing, what started off as a heartbreaking situation turned into a truly life-changing gift. And in this video, I want to share his story and hope that it encourages other families to put a plan in place when it comes to their home. Hi, my name is Casey. And if you've seen any of my other videos, then you know I talk a lot about the senior housing market. And I help people buy and sell homes in our local 55 and older communities. But we also help people in all kinds of situations, and today's story is a good example. We just helped a client sell a home that he'd inherited after the sudden passing of his dad. And if you're a homeowner, this is a great reminder of why having a will or a trust really matters. So this client of ours got the kind of phone call that we all hope we never get. His dad had suddenly and very unexpectedly passed away. And as you can imagine, he was heartbroken. And on top of grieving, he had to plan a funeral and take care of everything else that comes with losing a loved one. And then he realized that the home that his dad currently owned still had a mortgage. And that monthly mortgage payment? Almost $3,000 a month. And the problem was, our client didn't have the money to pay for a funeral, cover all of his own expenses, and keep up with a mortgage that he wasn't planning on. And that's when he reached out to see if we could help. Now, our first step was to figure out if there was a will or a trust. And if not, the home would have to go through probate before he could sell it. And this could take a long time. It could be a very expensive process. But thankfully, his dad had set up a living trust and named him as the trustee. Now this meant he could sell the home right away. And this was a huge relief. But there was a catch. He realized the home needed a lot of work. It had been lived in for years and definitely was showing signs of wear and tear. And our client just didn't have the money to do any major repairs on this home. So we took a hard look at the numbers so we could try to give him some options. Now our first option was to sell the home to an investor. He could definitely sell the home as is to an investor. And this would require no repairs or money out of his own pocket. But he would have to sell the home at a discount. Now we spoke with several investors who were interested in buying the home in the $400,000 to $420,000 range. And this wasn't bad considering the mortgage balance was right around $240,000. Now with this option, he would walk away with roughly $160,000, and the entire process would take as little as just 10 days. But we had another option. We also told him he could list the home on the open market. Now our advice was to clear out the home, do a deep cleaning, and make a few basic cosmetic improvements. And we suggested pulling out the old carpet, replacing the flooring with budget-friendly laminate, and then repainting the interior of the home. And if he decided on this option, we thought we could get closer to $500,000 for this home. And after expenses, he would get close to $230,000. And as it turned out, our client was pretty handy. So he decided to roll up his sleeves and do the work himself. And even though he was working on a tight budget, he was able to get this done. But the home looked dramatically better when he was finished. But we did run into an unexpected expense. Now while doing the work, we discovered there was a lot of wood damage on the exterior of the home. So we brought in our termite contractor and asked him for his help. He made all of the repairs and repainted the exterior wood so we could sell the home. And he agreed to defer the payment for the work until after the home was actually sold. And since the client didn't have the money to pay for the work up front, this was a huge help for him. And once the home was ready, we put the home on the market. And thankfully, within just 10 days, we had an offer for $520,000 for the home. And after 30 days, we were able to close escrow. And with the home sold, our client was able to pay off the current mortgage, cover his dad's final expenses, pay back the termite contract for the work he did, and he still walked away with a check for a little over $238,000. And now that the financial weight was off of his shoulders, he actually had the time to grieve for the loss of his dad. And now he's actually planning on using some of this money to buy a home for his own family. And I truly believe that's exactly what his dad would have wanted. Now losing a parent is incredibly difficult, but having a plan in place can make a world of difference for the people that are left behind. And in this case, it helped him avoid probate, reduce his stress, prevented any family disputes, and it protected his son's financial future. So if you've recently inherited a home, or if you're a parent thinking about how to pass on your assets, talk to an estate planner about setting up a will or a trust. Now we've helped many clients in this situation, and I can tell you this, the process is much easier when there's a will or a trust in place. And thankfully this story had a happy ending, but that's not always the case. And if you've inherited a home with your siblings or with other family members, things can get a lot more complicated. And I recently made a video about the challenges of a shared inheritance, like disagreements over selling, dividing the profits, or even just the maintenance of the home. So if you're in that situation, I'll put a link up at the top of the screen and you can check it out. Now, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.